Welcome, everybody. This is episode 3 of our celebrity series, and we are joined by the infamous Nick Dawa, Mr. Unbound Archery. Nick, how you doing, buddy?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Uh,
How
well,
have you
we're
guys
uh,
been?
we've been doing good, man. Been staying busy, trying to beat the heat and still shoot the bow and get dialed in for September, man. Can't wait. So, Nick, first and foremost, congratulations on winning the side by side, dude.
Thank you. Appreciate that, man. I just feel so blessed and humbled. And I think I've told you guys both like 5 times, but almost at a loss of words. Almost couldn't believe it. I mean, I had to
Yeah,
watch that live back probably 10 times just to make sure I wasn't dreaming.
yeah. Well, I tell you what, man, it was fun watching you earn all the entries for that thing. Getting to watch you shoot that buffalo. A lot of guys saw you out there too, and I think anybody that watched you shoot that thing and as many times as you shot it probably has no complaints on you winning that thing, man, because you spent a ton of money and flung a lot of arrows out there. So it was pretty awesome. When Cannon shot your name, uh, he just needs rides all the time now whenever he sees you. So
Deal. We can make that work.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember it was probably right when our schedule dropped for 2025. I get a text from you and like, I'm gunning for that side by side. Is it going to be the same distance? Quizzing me on if anything changed with that shot. And I was like, no, it's probably going to be the same within a yard or two. I can't remember what we had it the year before. Was it 106 or 103?
It's 106. We try to get it 106 pretty much every time.
Yeah. And then I'd get constant updates from you, like shooting your bow in the backyard at long distance with nice little groups. I'm like, and then when Kansas came around, you dropped some lettuce on
Yep.
us. We're like, how many tickets can I get for a bunch of money? And we're like, well, we'll cut you a deal here. So yeah, you dropped some money, you dropped some arrows out of the sky, and you earned it, dude. So congratulations.
Yeah, appreciate that. And you guys should probably remember the year before, like, oh man, I shot quite a bit of arrows at it, and I think I had like 8 entries, and my name didn't even make it on the dice. So after it, I think I had the most entries on it last year, and then my name didn't make the dice. I told you, I remember I said I'm gunning for it this year, and I meant it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you had pretty good luck this year, man. Let's talk about some of the things that you did walk away with from Shot the 3D Experience. A Darton bow.
Yep.
Pretty interesting story. We'll get to that one here in a little bit too. That happened at Tulsa. What else did you win? Did you win the Sever?
Yep. At Kansas, the Sever, there was binoculars, a bino case, and
Oh
then
yeah, Rolling Bones, Mystery Ranch.
arrows. Yep. There was some arrows, and then I think I won a certificate for some scents when you
Oh,
did
scent package. Yeah, man.
you did an
Awesome.
unknown smoke puck.
Yeah, forgot about that one. Man, we that the little blow up deals that we did. Is that what you're talking about? Winning that one?
Yeah.
Dude, those Thunderbirds are awesome, aren't they? Like,
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. I'm gonna buy more, I think.
yeah, we're gonna incorporate those into the event somehow.
I think the first time anyone sees one go off, they want to buy and try them.
Delicate. Well, Diamond Archery, when we were checking out with them and they were leaving, they didn't have any left. So,
oh, I bet.
So between us buying a few and everybody else that were shooting at them buying them, they didn't have any left with them. So, but yeah, that was fun. That's one of the interesting things like about our events is throwing out a different, like that was just an unplanned. Hey, there was a bunch of people, 20 people sitting around. Let's grab them over here. Let's do something. We always have something hanging out. Like freaking Luke from the Hanger Co. always hands me a couple little things here and there. DKM scent packages. Scent Thief just happened to be at Kansas, so he had a bunch of extra little things to throw out to people, shirts and hats and stuff. So it makes it exciting for us to be able to get a group of people because, man, there's nothing cooler than 20, 30, 40 people lined up and watching those arrows all take off. It kind of reminds you of the old Roman battle scene or something like that, watching the arrows fly like that. So it's pretty fun to do those little unexpected shots.
Yeah, that was a blast. And speaking of Luke, it was cool watching him do it with his trad bow. I mean, he was no stranger trying the freaking buffalo and the explosive targets. Like he was right there with us.
Dude, he tried the 200-yard buffalo, the 106-yard buffalo, the exploding target. Dude, that guy, he didn't care. He was throwing them everywhere, and looked like a little kid out there every time he shot, just laughing and giggling every
He
time.
was loving it, man.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
fun to watch him.
It was awesome. It was awesome. We had quite a few people out there. Pam had her stick bow out there, and a couple other guys, a couple of them kids from Diamond Archery. So there was some trad arrows getting flung at 106, 200 yards. It was, and man, it's so funny. You could count to 20 by the time they hit the ground, on that 200-yard shot. Watching those things just sail up in the air out of sight, and then there it landed, 20 yards short.
Kind of makes me want to try stuff with trad maybe next year.
Yeah, I got a couple bows now, so I'm gonna be trying it. I had to go pick one up after all them guys and meeting Spanky Brooks out there and seeing all them guys shoot. I had to go get my hand in it. So
what did you guys think of Spanky? He's a good dude.
Oh yeah, heck yeah, Kansas
awesome.
legend.
He really is a Kansas legend.
Yeah, and all around nice guy.
Yeah, he is.
Could not bank on a better guy right there. I mean, you could sit and talk to him and not know that he's got the accolades that he's got.
Yep.
And he talks to you just like a normal guy, just out there with his bow to have fun. Like,
you got to have him tell you the story about taking an arrow to the leg one day.
Oh goodness, he might be a good one to have on the podcast one day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he'd be excellent.
I bet he's got some stories.
Yeah.
Nick,
So
what are you been up to, man?
Man, just working my life away, strings, and then just my full-time job and all the other things we have going on. It's been a really crazy year.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I kind of want to expand on is you don't just do strings. You have a real job. You're kind of like us. You have a main job, and then you also do this, and this is a heck of a side hustle, so to say, here. Because you stay hooked up, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I stay pretty busy. I think we've talked about this before, but I got a degree in energy technology, and I work in the same kind of field that you guys work in with supply chain, logistics, inventory, stuff like that. So that's what I do for my full-time job.
Yep.
How busy are you right now with strings? Is it starting to ramp up?
It kind of ebbs and flows. I mean, February and July are like my two busiest months. And it's been pretty busy, but I try to kind of throttle it back a little bit by, you guys probably see where I'll accept a certain amount of strings a week and I'll just shut the website down. I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. I don't want to have a feeling that I'm rushing somebody's string. Like I want to focus my attention and quality and not, be rushed building the string. So I feel like I owe that to people.
Yeah, for sure, man. And it shows in the product, man.
I appreciate that.
Telling you, like, we talk about your strings quite often to everybody, and it's like literally, so me and Jeremy are polar opposites. Jeremy cleans his stuff, takes care of it. I use mine daily. My bow may be a walking stick. It may be helping me cross fences. I'm rough on things, and I might clean it when I get back home, and I might not. Most of the time, it's because Jeremy, like, hey, give me your bow. I'm sick of looking at it. I'm cleaning this thing. So, and I mean, I'm telling you, I can't tear those strings up, going, dragging, walking through the stuff I go through. So that's saying something.
It's funny how opposite people are, because I'm kind of right there with you. Like when I have a truck, like I want to use it as a truck and like be able to drive through fields and hit stuff. And I feel like the same.
Or run over deer.
Yeah, run over deer all the time. But with my bow, yeah, dragging it through stuff, spot and stock antelope and just hitting it on the ground. And then like I have friends that like their bow does not touch the dirt. Like the cam can't touch the dirt. The bow can't touch the dirt. So it's funny, like the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Dude, me and Jeremy are opposites on about everything.
It's good though. I guess those guys that really take care of their stuff, like their bows always have way better resale value. Because by the time I sell mine, it's like, it's got 17 scratches on it, some paint chips.
Yeah,
that's me. It's easier for me to just keep mine.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, well, but you have like 15, 20 bows now, don't you?
Yeah, we need to get rid of some, but yeah.
So you also, we forgot to mention this earlier on what you won. You also won the Carbon Elite bow at Tulsa for the 200-yard shot.
Yep. Yeah, that was a blast.
How you like that thing?
I got it set up, and I was shooting it for a couple days, and I almost took it to a local club shoot, but I ended up shooting the lift instead. But it shoots nice. I like it.
Gotcha. I've never shot one of those, so I
Yeah.
don't really know much about it. Like, I got no opinion either way on them. So
Yeah, it's real. I mean, it holds steady. It's a real comfortable bow. I bet if I had more time with it, I'd probably like it even more.
gotcha. Thank you to Okie Land bow hunters out there
Yep.
for that.
Thank you, Okie Land.
Now, is that the one that you won with the Darton?
No. Let me tell this story. So Nick wins the Darton bow from shooting the 106-yard buffalo in Kansas at Flint Oak. So we know he's coming to Tulsa. We hold on to it, right? So he's like, hey, just bring it to Tulsa or get it. Well, unbeknownst to me or anybody else, he brings an extra sight and everything, and he gets the thing set up, puts a peep in, gets this thing sighted in somewhat. Pretty much does his sighting in at 106 yards at the buffalo because he's like, hey, I'm going to get an entry with this Darton bow that I won shooting the buffalo in Kansas. I was like, oh, cool. If anybody can do it, it's probably going to be you. And I don't know, 8, 10 shots. Within 10 shots, boom, dead nut centers one and gets his entry. Well, the sucker goes over, takes his sight off and everything and comes back over and is like, shoots the 200-yard, gets that thing, wins that bow. So that novelty shot's done for. So we throw a gold card in. He comes over, hands me the Darton bow and says, hey, whoever hits that 200-yard shot, go ahead and give him this Darton bow. So thank you, Nick. We had another bow to give away, and Brian Tatum ended up winning that thing. So it was Tulsa was a pretty special event, man. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of cool things happened out there that, like, I was just thinking the other day, Tim had asked, like some of the most memorable shots that I got to see out there. And the Ryan Henderson 106-yard Robin Hood was one of my most memorable. But right behind that is him, Nick, getting that entry with the Darton bow that he won, setting it up within 2 hours of getting it and getting an entry in for the side-by-side with that same bow. That pretty freaking awesome. Like, it was pretty neat.
I kind of daydreamed about that happening, and I wanted to bring my portable press and get it set up and see how fast I can do it. And I got the sight on, and I went to practice, and I did go to the practice range, and I shot 3 arrows just to try to get 20. And then while I was sighting in, I noticed the indicator needle for the yardage marks broke off of my black gold sight, so I had no indicator needle. I shot, got 20 kind of where it needed to be, and I was like, all right. So I did like 3 or 4 shots, and then I went right over to it and just had to kind of dial down and watch. It helped having you because I see you over there coaching the people that come over and shoot, and you're like really accurate with it. Like, this went 10 feet below, a little left, this went 3 o'clock position, and that helps a lot, really dial stuff in. But yeah, it felt good to do that. And you definitely at the Kansas shoot, you said something to me, and I remember thinking, like, not until you said it, I'm like, he's 100% right. But you're like, at the 200-yard shot, I was shooting at it, I got a couple arrows like almost touching it, and then I went to go shoot a course, and while I'm shooting a course, the only thing I can think about is a 200-yard buffalo. And I was our team was on the last target, and I told them, I'm like, as soon as we shoot this, I'm going over, I'm going to get in. We go to pull our arrows, and I hear all this hooting and hollering and stuff, and I'm like, that's not for nothing. Something got the bow. And I called Brian. I'm like, did somebody just get that 200-yard buffalo? And you're like, somebody just hit it. And I'm like, yep, I heard it. And then I went up and talked to you, and you're like, I think, like, I don't even think winning the bow is as important to you as like just hitting it and saying that you hit it. And I'm like, dude, you're like, you're 100% right on that. And that's why, like, the experience of doing it and how it feels to do something like the long distance stuff, I love it so much, especially novelty stuff. And that's why, like, it just felt good to, win the bow in Kansas at the 107, 106, and then win the elite at 200, and then be able to give back to, like, so now somebody else has a memory of hitting and winning a bow.
Yeah.
Like, it feels good.
It was awesome. And speaking a little bit on that, the reason I say that is you were so dejected. Like, I could see it on your face when you walked back up and was like, oh, somebody hit it before me. And I could tell right there, like it was a flashbulb hit. Like I knew when we saw you in Tulsa, it was going to go down.
I was more motivated than ever.
That's funny. That's funny. But yeah, man, you did create a good memory because I just happened to talk to the winner the other day at the Beast Feast that I was at in Muskogee, and his brother was there still. Man, talk about a hype man. His brother is his best hype man. Hyping him up. Hey, yeah, Brian's here. He's over here, pointing at him. So he came over there and talked to him for a little bit, and he was excited that, he won not only the gold card, but that was one thing that he was excited about because he wants to be at every event next year. So that's going to help him get there. So we're
Man,
excited.
I feel like those gold cards are like the few you've given away have gone to people that like deserve to have them. They're like so
100%.
supportive of shot. So that's awesome.
Yeah, man. Savannah Doty won the one in Kansas at the after party, and went to a better price. I think they've only missed one shot event in its entirety, and it was this year Mulberry because of graduation, family member graduation. So,
yeah, I've met them a couple times, and they just seem like real nice people. It's just like I've met so many people, at these shots that are like probably going to be lifelong friends.
Oh, dude, telling you,
Philip, shout out Philip. Man, just some good people, dude. Some good people.
Man, it's so funny because that guy, I feel like I've known him for 20 years.
I know.
Like he walked in at Muddy Bottoms and was like, "Hey, what do you got going on here?" And explained to him the novelty shots. He shot a few. Unbeknownst to me, he goes and rides with Jeremy. Jeremy takes him to a course. And the guys he was with, I thought they all showed up together, but they didn't. He just met them. He's just one of those guys that doesn't meet a stranger. And until afterwards, and I see all the videos and everything that, Jeremy was doing while we were over here doing the novelty shots. They're over there shooting, that mule deer on the Tybo's course for a hat or novelty tickets or merch, whatever it was. And he ends up winning that. So he comes back, got his shot hat on. He's like, "I'm going to get that side by side, man." And I'm like, "Oh, let's do it." It's windy as can be out there. Like it was rough. I think we only had 5 to 6 entries. It was a low production day. And he goes in there, and so he gets one that was right on the line, right? And this sorry dog is sending me pictures of you seen Trailer Park Boys? The guy with the glasses that talks about the cats and the squanches, and he's got the thick pop. He sends me them all the time, telling me bring my glasses because he swears that one wasn't touching the line. But anyway,
he's told me a couple times to give you a hard time for that line call, and it's like him and I both were like neck and neck. In a way, we pushed each other to get more entries. Cause every day I'd go like, "Brian, how many does Philip have? I gotta beat him." So it's we really pushed each other.
That. You guys were competing, didn't even know each other. Like it was before you really met. Like he was like, "Hey, how many's that Dawa guy got?" I was like, "Man, have you met him yet?" He's like, "No, I haven't." And I was like, "Man, you need to go meet him." And so after you guys finally met, then you guys started shooting together. I was like, that was fun. And then you guys got to go over, you, Jeremy, and him. And Jeremy, talk a little bit about that little competition you guys had.
Oh, I don't even remember, man.
Trading bows?
Yeah, that's right. We did. We traded bows. I don't remember. Did Philip have to shoot mine?
Yeah.
And then
that was probably a good match, though. You two aren't too far off. It's the double and either one of them two because he's short like me.
Well, Philip tried to get me in to do it, and I traded him bows, and I'm like, "Dude, your draw length is way too long for me." So then it just ended up being him and Jeremy switching each other bows, and they each picked.
Get your head stuck in his.
And I think he beat me with my own bow. I can't remember, but
yeah, I think he barely did.
Yeah. Probably.
You guys were back. But I met Philip there in Tulsa, and then like we've talked, several times a week, and I guess he used to be like a professional bass fisherman, and then during COVID he got out of it and picked up a bow, sold everything, got into archery, and that dude, he's only been in shooting a bow for a few years, but you can't tell. Like his form is like rock solid, his follow through, like everything. He's like a seasoned archer.
Yeah. No, the dude. It's funny. So I didn't even realize that Jeremy kind of gave him the nickname Stone Cold Killer. When they're out there shooting on that Tybo's course and shooting, that's what Jeremy called him, and it stuck. And it's kind of funny because now I see the Stone Cold Killer speed knocks. He's got the SC
He's got it
SCK
fully logoed out. Yeah.
Oh, dude, he's got it etched on everything. So it's kind of cool, man. That is one of the most awesome things about doing what we do is, like you're saying, man, just meeting the people that turn into those friends like that, and just you hear the stories and the backstories. I think that's one thing that gets me is the backstories of a person, and how the community, not just archery, but the community behind archery, may have helped them out and saved them in some ways, man. We've got some stories from Odd Vein Out, with some guys that we met, like some awesome backstories of just how everything's came together, and it's because of the archery community. And I will 100% say this without certainty, the best community out there. I could leave my kid in the middle of an archery tournament, and I guarantee you somebody's going to look after that kid until he gets back to me.
Yeah, that just, it made me think of a quick story, if you don't mind me sharing.
Yeah, go
a
ahead.
customer of mine, I won't say his name, but you guys probably seen, like, just been a crazy year, busy and just some health issues, and you probably seen the alopecia, losing a bunch of my hair. I made that post on Facebook about, just committing to shaving it. Well, a customer of mine that I'm friends with on Facebook, we've never met in person, but I've shipped him a couple strings and I've done a couple custom things. And he reached out to me and asked me a couple questions. I guess he owns a salon and kind of specializes like in the health side of like hair regrowth and just different health things. And next thing I know, this package arrives at my door, and it's like hundreds of dollars worth of like supplements and like different vitamins and things for like your hair and health. And it's like just a reminder of like what you were just saying, like never met this guy in person, but just the archery community, people are always looking out for each other. So it's awesome.
Yeah, for sure, man. That is pretty awesome. Speak a little bit about the alopecia thing. So what exactly is that? I saw you posted that picture.
Yeah, so it's
is it an autoimmune thing, or what is it?
So it could be. Mine's not, but you start losing your hair in patches, and in extreme cases, like you can lose all your hair, facial hair, eyebrows. Mine was I'm gonna butcher the name, but alopecia areata, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just small patches. And it started off with one, and then I had some steroid injections, got worse. Could be autoimmune, could be stress. Went and got the steroid shots, and it didn't help. I actually ended up losing more hair. But they think it just might be stress related, or just, it could be several different things. They don't think it's anything too serious. And what it'll do is it'll run its course, few months, few years, like the hair will grow back. So.
Oh, really? I wish I not to be disrespectful, but I wish I could get alopecia on my back, so those back hairs would be gone. But
oh man, that's funny right there. Then how are you gonna stay warm in the winter?
Oh, dude, this belly. You see this belly right here? It's a heater.
Oh yeah, you guys live down in Oklahoma where it stays pretty warm year round, so you don't got to worry about that stuff.
I was built for Alaska. This hot weather kills me.
Yeah, we're so ready for some cooler weather.
Yeah.
September, come on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, speaking of September, man, when's your first hunt?
Probably be in September, end of September, and going out to Western Kansas and chasing pronghorns again with my buddy Landon. We've kind of made it a yearly thing, and less than 5%, 10% to 5% of bow hunters are successful. And I've chased them for like 3 or 4 years, and I finally shot one last year. And I think now that I have the process down, like I think we'll have more successful years ahead of us, but it's a blast.
Man, sounds very relatable to a coos deer in Arizona. It takes a few years to get acclimated to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I talked to a lot of guys up there. Luke even was like, Antelope in Kansas, it's a win just to see a group of them out there. I've never bow hunted them out there, but like everybody I've talked to said how tough it is in Kansas. I think partly because a lot of them kind of have migrated more towards the Colorado and even Oklahoma areas, right?
Yeah, we only have them in the far, like, fifth west of the state, pretty much.
Yeah.
real low numbers, real high pressure, and the terrain. Southwest Kansas is like what you think of when people are not from Kansas. Like, that's flat. So in some of those, like South Dakota and even in Colorado, where there's some terrain, so you can go get behind a bush or get in a little ravine, like you can't do that in Kansas at all. They like to stay, if if there's like a open field, plowed field, low grass, like they're in the very center of it most of the time. So it's like a good luck kind of thing.
So are you seeing a bunch of them though? Like, I mean, are you having good luck getting on some? It's just tough to get on them. Like, are you seeing groups?
Yeah, I know very, very few chunks of public land that will hold some. As you guys know, like, they move around. They don't really get held anywhere. But they're mostly small, very small groups and on private lands that you kind of need permission on. There's a couple public where you can get lucky.
Is that your process? You go around knocking on doors?
I'll tell you a funny
Scouting?
process. No, it's not that, because a lot of people don't let you. But if you can kind of scare them onto some public land and kind of chase them around, you go and slow a vehicle down, they run. So they're coming across a road, you can kind of come and they'll take off. So in a way, you can kind of push them onto public land and let them settle down.
That's interesting, like, and that's a tactic to keep in your back pocket, right? Like, drive around on some public or some private close to public and just stop and let those suckers get scared and run off. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Be telling secrets here now, so everybody be trying to go up there and do it.
I wonder if that'll work in Oklahoma.
I don't know.
Yeah, how is the pronghorn population there?
It's pretty good, honestly, but it's only the panhandle. Like,
oh, gotcha.
So you got a very narrow strip, but in Oklahoma that holds the antelope. But what is there are good quality antelope.
How far is that drive from the area that you live in, Brian, over to some antelope?
Man, it's probably still 4 to 5 hours. 5 hours.
That's a hike
from my place.
It's 6 from my house.
Yeah,
straight.
It's 4 hours. I would say 4 hours for sure. Good drive up there to that. You get in the Cimarron County and up there to where those pronghorn. But the bad thing about it is it's just very limited public land in that panhandle. There's some sections, some smaller sections of it. 90% though is private land. But the one thing I have talked to a few people that have shot Oklahoma antelope is pretty good success at knocking on doors out there.
Yeah.
Especially bow hunting. Because the draw hunts are all rifle hunts in Oklahoma. If you're putting in for the once in a lifetime Oklahoma draw hunts, they're all rifle hunts. And even then, those guys are having good luck at going. And I've heard a lot of the little tricks and trades and stuff. And luckily, we don't have 10 million viewers yet. But the tricks and trade, like, you can go to a coffee shop in one of those small towns where you've got a lot of antelope walking around, and you can go talk to those old men, and 9 times out of 10, 2 to 3 of them are going to say, "Hey, go out there to my place." So pretty fortunate, I think, if you do draw one of those tags, to get permission on some public land. From what I understand, I've not done it yet. Still putting in. So,
man, that's a good trick. That doesn't really work here in Kansas. I wish it was like that. I might have to come down to Oklahoma to get some permissions.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. You need to come down here one of these days and do it.
Yeah. So, would love to.
That'd be awesome.
I used to work in Guyman, Oakland, the Panhandle, Guyman, for about a year.
You're in Antelope City up there, man.
Yeah, I've seen a few in that area.
Yeah, some of the biggest antelope I've seen. Now, I'm not an antelope hunter, and I'm not like 100% like just I know my antelope. But when we were coming from New Mexico, going into Black Mesa, right there on the New Mexico-Oklahoma border, and Texas, that little 3-state corner there, I saw 2 of the biggest pronghorn I've ever seen ever. And they were wide. They came out wide and tall. Oh my gosh. It definitely interests me to shoot one of those with my bow for sure.
Yeah, Nick, if you ever do come down to Oklahoma to chase pronghorn, I've got some contacts out in Guyman area that we can hook you up with.
Heck yeah, man. Sounds good. I would love to.
It'd be awesome.
So after you chase some prongies, what then?
It's going to be a real light year with just how busy things have been. Maybe go and do another hog hunt somewhere. But other than that, I might do a little mule deer hunting in Kansas. I usually get the either sex, either species tag for archery so that I can shoot a whitetail or a mule deer buck. So I might start the season out in western Kansas chasing muleys. And then if that doesn't end up, then I'll be right back to the whitetail side where I am the most comfortable with. So,
but that's still so if you get that either or, it's one buck. So you can shoot a muley or a whitetail.
Correct.
And you're done then, right?
Yeah, in Kansas they have that either species tag, but it's for archery only. So if you get it, you forfeit rifle hunting. Or you can get any season whitetail where you can shoot one with any weapon, but then you're forfeiting your muley.
Gotcha.
Speaking of whitetail, you shot a pretty decent buck last year, right?
130s, 140s?
Yeah, it was like 129 or something. Not bad.
Somebody called it a 160. I don't know who that was.
Yeah, that's happened a couple times online.
Facebook scores are out, man.
Yeah. So 193 gross. Is that what it was? Yeah. Let's hear that story. I haven't heard the story how that all went down, so I'm curious to know. Walk us through the hunt.
So I normally hunt in a spot in northern Kansas, and I've hunted there for several years. It's where I shoot all my bucks, and it's like the first week in November. I almost always tag out around the 4th, 5th, 6th. It's always like that first week. And this past season, I went to Oklahoma, shot a big hog, and I had like 3 weeks off. So I turned around and I went right to the north property and just started hunting, and weren't seeing a whole lot. It was warm for a long time. I got sick for a couple days. It rained a whole lot. So it was just like a really like weird season. And after like a really big downpour, I decided to come back home for a couple days. Hunting's about unwinding and feeling, some relaxation, which I was, but I started off the vacation at the end of October, and here we are like November 11th. So it was like almost, if you factor in October, almost 2 full weeks of hunting. I shot that hog and everything, but I was just starting to get exhausted. We spend most of the day in the stand and we're up super early, and some of those days are cold, and it's just like eat, sleep, hunt. That's it. Bed early so you can wake up. And it was just kind of draining me. So I came back home, did my laundry, and I slept in, missed a morning hunt. And the next day, it was like 20-mile-an-hour winds. It had rained again the day before, and I'm like, I cannot catch a break. And there's a little property I got permission from, and this is kind of an interesting story on how I got this permission. I'll try to make this one quick. I went to a shoot called the No Bull that Smoky Valley used to put on. It was called the No Bull because it's like the hardest shoot in the, like, it was always windy. It was super technical. It was like some of the shot courses, like super technical, between trees, rocks, and it was unknown. And I met this guy that they assigned the groups, and I met this guy, and he's like, well, I've never shot, 3D before. This is my first time. He's like, this is known, right? And we're like, no, it's unknown. So the first day, like, he lost all but like one arrow. So they had this little like 10 target money course you can do. And I was like, dude, like, we had a guy in our group that was kind of like being a prick to him. And I'm like, dude, calm down. This guy's first time doing 3D. So I took the new guy over to the money course, and I was like, all right, that target, like, how far do you think it is? And I'm like, this is why I think it's this yardage, because, I look at the ground, I factor this, that. And we got through that course, and he had like a new confidence of judging. Well, the next day, he shot such a high score that if he would have shot like a similar score the first day, he would have like made it into the shoot off in like a high placement. So he was just super thankful, about learning that stuff. And he's like, hey, like, I know you're kind of new to this area. My family has this property, it's not a whole lot, but you can come hunt at any time. And it's a lot closer to home. And I've hunted a couple times. I didn't see a whole lot. I had some cameras out, didn't get a lot of good pictures, had some decent ones. But after hunting 2 weeks and not having anything, I'm like, I'm switching it up. I know there's no pressure on this property. And I sat there on the couch, after sleeping in the day, doing laundry and everything else. And I'm like kind of down on my luck feeling, and it's 20-something mile an hour winds. It rained. It's going to be swampy. And I was like, you know what? Like, at least walk out there, look for sign, do whatever you need to. And so I was like, all right, I'll take my stuff. I'll take my, I had a portable elevate stand. It was like 5-pound stand, and I hiked it in, and I had my mud boots on. It was just sticking. It was like kind of miserable. And I walked all the way to the spot that I never hunted. And I'm like, this thing looks sweet. There's sign everywhere. And it took me almost an hour to get the stand hung because there wasn't like a stand or a tree that was like suitable for the area I wanted to hunt. So I tried to climb one tree, didn't work. And I was like, all right, the only spot this will work is if I only go like 7 foot off the ground in between like a few trunks. So it's kind of hidden, but it was only like 6-7 foot off the ground. And I got it hung and I sat in it, and I was like, well, I don't have my bow. I'm not in my camo. So I can hike a mile back to the truck, get my camo on and hike back, or just call it good. Tomorrow it'll dry out and I'll hunt tomorrow. And I thought about it. I was like, I'll walk back and see how I feel. So I hiked back to the truck and sat there for a little bit. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Like, I have during the rut, I try to have this thought of like, if I don't shoot a buck, it's not because I didn't try. Like, I'll feel good knowing I tried. So I got my camo on, grabbed my bow, hiked back out there, sat, and I didn't see a single deer, squirrel, raccoon, nothing. It was windy as crap. And you guys know, like, that last little bit of light where you stand up, stretch, you slowly start to get your stuff. I texted Shayla and I was like, hey, like, I haven't seen nothing. I'm about to pack my stuff up. I'll be home, around this time. And then, so I stood up and I grabbed my grunt tube and my rattle bag. I started putting in my bag, and off in the distance, 200-300 yards, I could just see a rack moving, working a scrape. I picked up my binos and I was like, that's a really nice buck. So I was like, well, I've only got 10 more minutes basically of light. So I just let out a real loud, like 2 consistent grunts, set the grunt tube down, picked up my binos, and he's like beelining right towards me. My bow was hanging off to my left, and I grabbed it as soon as he was running in, and he kind of like slowed down a little bit, started walking, and I ranged him, and he was at 70. The interesting thing about 70 is that was the yardage I practiced the most, because at my house we have a couple acres and there's a feeder at 70 from my deck.
Mm-hmm.
And I had bucks coming almost every night, and I swore I was going to shoot one off my deck at 70. So I practiced at that yardage almost every day. And then like a week before the season, those bucks disappeared. Well, anyway, this buck's coming in. He's at 70. He's slowing down. I ranged him, and he took a few more steps, and I knew he was at about 65, and he stopped, and he kind of like looked up, and he turned a little bit, and I drew back and just sailed it right through him. And I've never seen a deer run so fast in my life, but he ran, and I kind of heard like a little crash, and I was like, oh my God. And I texted Shayla back, and I was like, BBD. She's like, BBD, you said you were coming home. I'm like, yep, in fact. So I went into some thick brush, and I couldn't find him. I almost panicked and couldn't really find much blood. And I was like, no, like, I am confident that I heard him like crash. So I walked around, called my buddy Steve. I'm like, hey, he's like, dude, I'm in Topeka, but I'll drop everything, come to you right now. Like, I know he would have, but I'm like, let me go take one more look and I'll let you know. And I walked in and I went through the thickest part of the brush, and he was laying right there, and I just couldn't believe it. So that's how the hunt went. Never seen the deer, didn't have history with them, almost didn't hunt that day. So it's kind of a crazy story.
Yeah, you can't do it unless you're out there, right?
Yep.
That's awesome. That's your biggest one year to date?
Yep. It's my biggest one, and the year before I shot what was my biggest one. It's like 172. And then I went from that to this buck this past season.
That's a pretty good resume just in 2 years.
Yeah. Yep, really fortunate.
What's most interesting is I kind of listened to your podcast with Bergie, and on the
Shout
Bergie
out
bow
Bergie.
test. Yeah, shout out Bergie. Man, when did you start bow hunting, Nick?
I actually got into bow hunting later in life, and I know I've told this story several times, but I didn't come from a hunting family, and don't shame me for this, but I was born in California, and then my family moved us out to the Midwest when I was like 10. So city came from the city, which I hate. I never want to live in another city again unless I have to. But yeah, I came from California. I didn't come from a hunting family, and then grew up in the Midwest. All my friends hunted, bow hunted. I was big into bass fishing. You know, Philip will appreciate that. But I would watch the Outdoor Channel and the Sportsman Channel and would watch bass fishing, and a hunting show would come on and be like, damn, like, I don't want to watch this. I'm trying to watch bass fishing. So I'd change it. And then it got to the point where it's like, all right, this hunting episode's almost done. I'll watch it and I can watch fishing. And I'm like, wait a minute, like, you know, the Drurys and the bone collectors, I'm like, this is actually kind of cool. And so I ended up getting a bow right around the time I met Steve. And this was back in like 2009, 2010. And we shot almost every day. And then it just, you know, as you guys know, once you start shooting a bow, like the love for the sport grows so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Kind of funny. I've hunted my whole life, as far as I can remember. I've got pictures of me being 3 years old on, you know, on the back of deer with my dad, you know, thanks to him. But as far as getting, I bow hunted intermittently from about 15 to 28, but I didn't really start bow hunting per se till probably about 2018, when I would say I was just a true blue bow hunter. I think since then I've only really killed a couple of rifle deer, and most of the time that's with my pistol. I like to use my pistol just because it's the same scenario. I got to get them close. Makes it a little more exciting. But yeah, I've hunted my whole life. It's kind of funny to see somebody that hasn't started out hunting or shooting a bow or any of that stuff getting into it, and then jumping into, like, man, you jumped into it. Like, now you're making strings, but you started out doing something else, didn't you?
Yeah, it's kind of like I guess you can say like an ADD thing, but I got into shooting a bow, and then I lived in a small Southwest Kansas town that didn't have like many shops. So I'm like, man, I think I'm going to learn how to do my own arrows. And you guys know, like, that's one of the first things, like archery tech side. Like, all right, I'm going to learn how to build arrows. Learn how to build arrows, and it's like, all right, I'm liking these arrows, building arrows. Like, maybe I can work on my own bow. So I got a press, and I got, you know, some of the clamps and just different things, vices. And I, the first time I ever pressed a bow, I shot it out of a bow press, and I thought, I'm never doing this ever again. But you know, myself now, I know you have to be willing to risk making mistakes to learn anything in life. Once you have that cheat code, like, it's such a blessing. But so I got the press, and I finally, trial and error, learned a bunch of stuff. And it's like, all right, now I'm getting good at, you know, tuning bows, like the archery technical side of things, taking a bow part and, you know, paper tears and limb deflections and cam bearings and accessories and all this stuff. It's like, what's the next thing? Well, there was a big push. I don't know if you guys remember this, maybe right before pre-COVID, of like trad stuff, heavy arrows. Like, there was a huge thing. It's kind of dwindled down a little bit, but I got a trad bow, and I was like, this is kind of cool shooting trad. And then went down a rabbit hole on that and started building bows. So I went to Mike Yancey's Pine Hollow Longbows out of Arkansas, and he's one of like the best self bow builders. I did Clay Hayes's online class, and then I did Mike Yancey's in person, and I learned how to take like an Osage stave, split it, you know, dry it, season it, and then turn it into a longbow. And I've probably made 50 or 60 board bows and just you know, self bows, stuff like that. The thing about that was you could spend 20, 30 hours building a bow, you know, tillering it. It might come out good. It might snap, starting all over. And it's like, when you don't have a name for yourself, no one really knows your business. Like, what's that bow worth? I spent 30 hours in it. It might be worth $200 to you, you know,
Yeah.
it might be worth $100. And then, so it's like, man, I was like, my favorite part about building a traditional bow is building the string. So I'm like, I started building the Flemish twist trad strings, and I was like, that's all I was doing. And it's like, what's the next thing to do in archery? It's like, well, the string thing, I'm really liking it. So maybe compound strings. Like I had the thought a couple times. I'm like, no way. Like I could never learn how to do that. It's so complicated. I don't even want anything to do with it. And then it's snowballed, man. I bought a couple pieces of equipment and it just, I mean, you guys can see some of the stuff behind me, but that's really
nice.
stuck.
You got a really nice setup there. I remember when you took me down to the basement, and it's clean, it's organized, you got all the right tools. It's a shop I would work in for sure.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
That brings me, we were talking earlier about the shot events. We get asked nonstop about Unbound strings. So we push a product to everybody we can talk to. And I get questioned a lot. And I know Brian does too. Like, well, what makes Unbound so good? Why do you shoot them? And to me, it's when you got a perfect recipe of really good quality products, the fibers that you're using, the craftsmanship is good, and then you've got probably the world's best customer service behind it. It's a perfect recipe for success. And that's what I tell everybody. I say, Nick can tell you all the reasons why he uses Bloodline. I don't know strings and fibers and what works, what doesn't work. What I do know is I've put about 100 sets of these suckers on buddies' bows and people that come over to our shop here. And I've never had a bad set. Everybody's been happy. And when I call you, you're Johnny on the spot. When we make an order for whether it's us or one of our staff members, it's in the mailbox and in their mailbox 2 to 3 days later without fail. And the one time that we did have an issue, it wasn't your fault. It was the guy who ordered the wrong set. And it really wasn't his fault either. It was a PSE. I can't remember what model it was, but they did a mid-year change on their strings, and he ordered it according to what the bow was, but it was a different string series for that particular bow. And we called you up, you looked it up, and you're like, oh yeah, they did a mid-year change. He needs the 5-4 set or the 4-5 set, not the 2-3 set. And 2 days later, it's in my mailbox and we're putting it on there. Like, no questions asked. So the customer service is top notch. And I've watched you build a set, and every set that I've received, 100% best quality that I've ever put my hands on.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And if you don't have customer service, you don't have anything. And if, we're not perfect, we're going to make mistakes. I mean, nobody can make a 100% perfect product every single time, but we try. And I put myself in the shoes of the archer because I'm an archer and I know what it's like, man. Like if you have a problem with your string and you can't shoot, like you panic. So I resonate. If somebody's having an issue, like let's address that above anything else. Like that's a high priority. So
Yeah.
we try to take care of people.
Try to explain a little bit what we cannot explain of why you use Bloodline. Like what's the difference between that and some of your competitors out there? Because I don't know all the technical specifications and whatnot.
Yeah, Bloodline's a somewhat, I say somewhat loosely, newer material to the market. And there's really only BCY and Bloodline now. Bloodline's completely waxless. And it's a blended material, so you get the best of both worlds with both, Vectrin and Dyneema blended material. But the icing for the Bloodline material, and a lot of people know this, is that it's completely waxless. Some people don't believe that there could be a waxless material because BCY has been pretty much the owner of the market forever. Bloodline came to the scene. They make a completely waxless material. You guys know that wax collects dirt, dust, grime. It gets in your cams. You change a string out and you can see the wax and dirt in there. Well, that gets in your choose your serving up, in your cams and your rollers, and affects the fibers. But not only just the Bloodline fibers, but we have like a stretching process. We have different stages on how we build our strings, different ways we test the materials. And through trial and error, like everything else, in the beginning, I was using a different fiber, different serving process, different stretching, and it was like redefined to what it is today. And the best thing is just the feedback. I've told this to people before, like, you guys know what SEO is, search engine optimization. Like,
Yep.
I don't really pay to do any advertising, you know. I don't pay anything for Google to pop it up. Like, people don't buy my string on accident because they typed in Google bowstring and mine came up. Like, Unbound is seeked out, whether it was through word of mouth or because someone bought a bow that had Unbound on it, but it's not by accident. And I take pride in knowing that when people buy a string, like, it's because they seeked out the string and the brand and the quality and the customer service. So it means a lot.
Yeah, it was kind of a cool story how we
Yeah.
got to know Unbound. My
Dude,
sister Candace.
I feel
shout
like
out-
this is an awesome story, so I'm glad we get to share this
yeah,
because I've told it several times, but to get it recorded and out there, because it's one of the most awesome stories out there, I think, on how we even met you. So
yeah. So my sister Candace, shout out to her. She just made me an uncle yesterday. So we got a new family member. Her name's Aspen Lynn, 7 pounds 9 ounces, I think. So
heck yeah,
I got it.
congrats, Candace.
Yeah, congratulations, sis, and hope you get to listen to this soon. And yeah, so she won a set of your strings off of the Instagram giveaway of some sort. And this was probably 2020.
2021, 2022, somewhere in there.
Yeah, 2021 maybe.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna say 22. I'm gonna say 22.
Yeah, I think 22. I think that's right.
Really?
Think so.
Maybe. Maybe it
23
was
was
22.
August of 23 was the first shot event.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have
The
made
year before that.
yeah.
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 So 2022. And that was about the time I was starting to get comfortable, like you, like trying my hand in bow mechanicking in my own house. Like I got tired of taking my stuff to subpar archery shops, and not just with my bows, but I'd go get some fletchings done. And before I got home, fletchings were falling off my arrow shafts. I'm like, what the heck? I just paid all this money to have a dozen arrows fletched, and I got to take them back up there because they're falling off. And actually, that's the story where I was like, screw it. I'm buying my own jigs. I'm going to learn how to do this. I watched a bunch of Dudley 101 videos, and that kind of kick-started my bow teching in my backyard or back basement, whatever you want to call it, journey. And sister won a set of your strings and got them shipped to the address here, and I put them on. What's funny is we were preparing to go to a TAC event that year. And prior to ordering yours, or prior to us ordering a second set of strings from you for me and Brian, we had ordered some A3 strings, which is bloodline fibers as well. Ordered them like 6 weeks before TAC, and it's getting to be like 2 weeks before TAC starts.
We were 2 weeks before TAC.
2 weeks out, we still don't have our strings, and we're starting to freak out because, like, I need some strings. Like, we needed strings. Like, we're not going to go to TAC unless we put new strings on this bow.
I needed strings 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm. So I had seen firsthand the quality that you had in sister's bow, and I really liked them. And I knew that they were the same type of bloodline fibers. So I get online and order 2 sets, one for Brian, one for me. And then I think like 3 days later, we got our A3s in the mail. And like a day after that, we got yours in. And I can't remember. I threw a set on. I don't remember if it was yours first or the A3. I think it might have been the A3s I threw on first. And we shot TAC, came back. And I was like, I want to take Unbound. Yeah, you did Unbound. I did A3. And then when I got back from TAC, I took the A3s off, not because they weren't performing. I was curious to see what the difference was. And I put the Unbounds on, and I finished the entire year out with your strings on, and probably 6 months into the next year. And somebody that's listening to this might be like, well, they should last a year and a half. Man, I was shooting the crap out of my bow. I'm talking like 200 reps a day we were shooting. We were going hard and heavy with odd vein out. We were doing our hunts. And like I had people over here every single day we were shooting in the backyard. So I put a lot of rounds to that bow with those strings on there. and they looked as good as new a year and a half later.
Yeah,
So
and
that
A3, they use the B99, which is pure Dyneema, and we use the VEC 99. So those are like the two compound fibers. So we both use Bloodline, but they're like two different fibers. We use the
two different
combined
kind
one.
of fibers. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Well, I didn't have.
sorry,
I still have the set of A3s in my drawer over there for that bow that I used to have, and never put them back on. I ran yours the rest of the life of that bow, really. And then I called you up when we were just doing the odd vein out stuff, and I was like, "Hey, sister wanted a set, and I bought a few sets off of you, and we're trying to do like a sponsorship for our backyard, 3D deal." And I was like, maybe I came across the wrong way, but I was like, "Would you want to partner with us and kind of do a sponsorship?" And you're like, "Man, I really can't handle any more strings right now. Like, I don't want the advertisement really. I'm just want to grow by word of mouth." And I was like, "All right, cool." And we ordered some more strings after that for some other buddies. And then Shot came up, and I hit you back up again with Shot, and you jumped right in and was like, "Yeah, I'll sponsor some string giveaways."
Real quick though, but before the Shot deal happened, by mid-season of our Odd Vein Out, our first full season of Odd Vein Out, we had ordered so many strings from you. You started putting OVO on the speed knobs, and it was kind of like, so we kind of asked you about it, and it was like, nah, I don't really want to be busy. You didn't know us. You didn't know anything. We didn't know you that good, but we started ordering. Like Jeremy, like he got into to bowsmithing a little bit there and doing that, and everybody that came over was, "Hey, help me get sighted in. What do I do? Oh, you need new string? We're getting Unbounds." And we'd have them in 3 days. I know somebody had mentioned I said 3-day turnaround, and they're like, "Oh, everybody's going to expect that from Nick now." Don't expect that, but it's close. It's not that far off. But yeah, we were getting the custom OVO speed knobs. This is before Shot even was a thought. And so mid-season, you started seeing, oh shit, these guys are pushing here. So by the time it came around for Jeremy, when he started asking you about Shot, then it was like a whole different story.
Yeah, those custom wraps, I do them for like the top 5. Like if there's repeat buyers, like the top 5 repeat buyers usually end up with their own kind of wrap.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, for us, it was the coolest thing because we, like I said, our story starting out is like, 12 shitty targets in Jeremy's backyard, with some buddies shooting for beer money. We might grab some prizes here and there and have a cookout, but it was more like how we started and how it is now. Like, it's a pretty awesome deal. And then to have you incorporated into that story and the story that it is, like, I don't really want to be busy. And then next thing you know, you're custom making speed knocks for us. Like, pretty freaking awesome. Like,
yeah, when Brian says a few shitty targets in the backyard, I still have the Instagram post on my personal Instagram. The very first target I bought was one of those cheap ass raccoon Delta McKenzie's. You know what I'm talking about? The little cheap foam ones. I bought that and a couple other, like a Fox and a Delta McKenzie Javelina or something. Not the ASA Javelina, like the cheap, crappy one. I bought those 3 and I made a post on Instagram, and all it said was "coming soon." And we just out of pocketed, I don't know, 15 targets, like the cheapest ones we could get because we needed enough to throw on, a little mini jackpot behind the house. But I do remember, like, it was crappy targets, and it was just buddies coming
How
over.
long
drinking.
ago was that?
2021. Yeah.
I love stories like that, man, because look at where you guys started just buying a couple targets, and look at where you guys are now. And look at the Wild Creek targets you guys have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we started, and it grew from 5 or 6 of us hanging out, shooting for beer money to a very small community. We'd invite their friends over, and it got to like 20 or 30. And then it was like, hey, let's make a Facebook page. We'll kind of start a half-ass club here, call it Odd Vein Out, and started doing jackpots. and it blew up. We started getting 100 people a weekend out here, like
Yeah,
pretty
it's.
consistently.
I wish Tim was on with us. I kind of miss talking to him too, but I
Yeah.
just to, show you guys or explain, some of my appreciation for you guys. Like I see what you guys are doing to grow the community in Oklahoma and even coming up into Kansas. But it's like
Yeah.
at this point, it's almost like no one kind of in these areas is really bringing that many people out together. And the camaraderie and like
Mhm.
it being so family oriented, and people are making, it's not just everyone that comes is like making friends that they'll probably have forever. But what you guys are doing is just such a blessing for the archery community, especially where you guys are going and having these shoots, and people trap. I know I've met some people who have traveled some far distances. So
Oh yeah,
kudos
for
to you
sure.
guys.
Well, and here's the challenge as we've grown over the last 3 or 4 years. Yes, we want to continue to grow, but we want to stay true to our roots as well. And I feel like we kind of let a little bit of people down with the odd vein out. Like we have a lot of messages on the odd vein out Instagram, like when are you going to do another odd vein out? And it's just we kind of had to let that go to the side to get to the next level of putting on bigger events at bigger venues where there's 4 or 5, 6, 700 people coming. I just don't have time to do it in the backyard anymore. And um, what we hope is those guys who loved odd vein now are going to continue to come, to the shot events. It's the same thing. It's just on a bigger scale. And you still get Brian, Jeremy, Tim, Amber, Teresa, all those people that were at odd vein out in your ear, like, hugging you and greeting you, like, good to see you again, Steve. We're still doing that at shot, and we want to continue to do that. We want it to be a big event with a small event feel. And we want to be a part of the community. That's the most important thing to us.
And going in that same thing is most of our staff members now were odd vein out members. Like they come and shot odd vein out, and they turned into shot staff members. Like that's how it went from customer to community to friend to family. Like it's a crazy thing, man. Like it still blows my mind. We're not TAC. We're not trying to be TAC. TAC is TAC, but with us, just even being the little bit of success that we've had still blows our minds. Like I get teary eyed when I see a parking lot with 500 people in there. Like, oh man, everybody came out because they believed in us. Like
Yeah.
it's a pretty awesome feeling, man. And then when you hear the stories, and that I think that's one thing that I get that Jeremy doesn't get a lot, because Jeremy, how we're sometimes, I wouldn't say short staffed, but we're busy wearing many hats.
Yeah.
I kind of run the novelty area, so I get a lot more interaction. Jeremy gets a lot of interaction, but he may be carting people to a course. He may be fixing vendor problems. He may be over here doing this, so he gets spread out a little bit. I get a lot. I get to see the people a lot because I'm right there calling shots, doing what I do, and I get to have the backstories. And I think, man, that's one thing that we kind of talked about on our podcast. Eventually, we're going to bring in just some shooters to talk to, some guys that started out just a Joe Blow that picked up a bow a couple of years ago. We're going to have some of those guys on here just to talk to them and let them tell their story, because man, that's where it is for me. And another cool thing is Teresa does the youth, the novelty shot for the youth kids, for the kids, the Bill Sporting Goods Kid Zone. The kids get me, man. Like seeing those kids come out there and having a chance to win something. They're watching their dads or their moms. There's a lot of women that come out, man, and that freaking blows my mind. The women shooting just as good as some of the men out there, if not better. So watching those kids being over there shooting, trying to win something, getting their name wrote down, and seeing the excitement on their face, golly, it's like pulling on the heartstrings, So to be able to bring that to not only Oklahoma but Kansas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and another state coming next year, hint hint. But to be able to do that just really looking back to where it all started, it's mind blowing. Like, and to have you as part of that, man, that's pretty awesome to be able to know our story, how you got pulled in. You are our first horse sponsor in shot history. At the Hugo event 2023, hotter than Hades. Everybody about heat stroked out there. It was hot, but one of the coolest events that I think we've ever had. And for our first event, we pulled 300 people, you know,
On a 2-month notice.
on a
Yeah.
2-month. And honestly, how shot even started was just honestly, we were having 100 people show up at our jackpots, and it was kind of like me and Jeremy were talking, and we're like, we had met Tim. The whole story, man. We're gonna have to do an origin story podcast
Yeah.
with just me, Jeremy, and Tim, because we could talk for a couple hours on that. We met Tim at TAC and shot his little challenge course, and Jeremy ended up winning it, and one of them, and won a stand release. But we called him to incorporate some of his novelty shots into our odd main out stuff, and then it turned into, hey, this guy, you know, he's got a range down in Hugo. Let's call him and let's have just a 2-course, add an extra course, and maybe make a bigger shoot for our customers. And then that turned into 5 courses, and you being a course sponsor and going from where it is, like, it's just it's pretty crazy, man. We're gonna have to do an origin podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you guys will. Can't wait to listen to that one.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of
And you know, our philosophy from the beginning has to grow shot has always been looking back at how we made Odd Vein Out successful, and it was really customer service and generating an atmosphere where it didn't feel like a bunch of snobby archers out there shooting for money. We wanted to bring the fun into it and kind of let your guard down. Atmosphere was everything. Create an environment where we felt like we're a family, and we wanted to grow the sport. And I know that's something really big, and in your opinion and your heart is geared towards growing the sport of archery. You talk about it a lot. Every time I talk to you, you're always like, hey, thank you for what you guys do for growing the sport, you know, and it's part of our name. SHOT stands for shooting, hunting, outdoors, and tradition. And that tradition to us means passing that along to not just the next generation, but newcomers coming into the sport, you know, and helping them along. Oh, you don't think you can shoot 70, 80 yards? Let's go out to practice range. I'll show you can. And I don't know how many times we've done that at a SHOT event.
every event. Every event.
We're like, oh, I can't, my limit's 40 yards. Like, why is that your limit?
Yeah.
Let's go out here and break that limit real quick.
Yep.
You know, and if you can make a 20-yard shot, you can make an 80-yard shot.
Yep. And I love that about you guys. And I think I started noticing a trend, you know, and an unfortunate one at some of these local club shoots where the attendance was just kind of dwindling over time. Well, then these TACs and different events started popping up, and you're like, look at the attendance, and it's like there's a shift going on, and you guys kind of like saw this shift, and it's like, you know, on one end where some of the club attendances are kind of coming down, you guys found the area that archers want to be in. They don't just want to go to the same club shoot the same 20 targets with a 40-yard max any given weekend in their area. They want to network with people. They want to shoot long distances. They want to do novelties. They want like an experience, like a shot, the 3D experience. They want that whole experience. And so I think it's interesting, and I hope more people kind of take note of the shift that's going on and kind of also help accommodate these newer archers. You know, maybe some of them can't travel that far. And so if we can get, you know, more events like this, I think that there will be a lot better attendances.
Sure.
Yeah, 100%. Because we were it was kind of crazy. So ASA had kind of died out in Oklahoma. It was
Kansas too.
It was on the verge of being extinct in 2021. We had more people at just a backyard jackpot than the state tournament. It's revived thanks to some good leadership now. Shout out to Neil. Cooley on that. He's done a lot to promote not just ASA. He promotes archery, and that's the cool thing about it is like he's not just saying come to my ASAs, come shoot an ASA course. Man, he's at our shot events. He promotes our indoor that we do. Anything, always willing to help, always trying to throw something in. So it takes people in the industry to make it grow. And if you have the wrong people in there that are sediment and just worried about trying to make money, that's when you get the downs. And for us, it really wasn't ever about making money. It was more about we loved our first tack. We loved it. And I had a heck of an experience that I'll talk to about another time with Dudley, and my son that drove my driving factor to what we do. But to have us pulling the odd vein out and doing the numbers that we did showed us that we were on the right track. And that's what made us go this way that where we are now. So it was, essentially just meeting a bunch of like-minded people that kind of drove us. You know, when you meet a guy like you, that's number one, like I said, the customer service that you offer and the willingness to like step in and do stuff, that drove us. And then you meet guys like Jacob Carpenter from Scent Thief, and then you know, the guys from Tacticam, Tate Rector and Damien and all those guys that helped us out. And in the beginning, it was Hunter and Morgan Bigham. You know, having those people come in and help and seeing them saying, oh, man, you guys are onto something, that helped us. And then just the customers, man, everybody that comes out and shoot, being able to talk one-on-one with them and be able to be a part of their story, that's the best thing.
I love that. It makes me excited for the future events for you guys. So on the kind of, not to shift the gears, but I had a question I've been wanting to ask back on the 107-yard buffalo, because when I very first saw some of these Wild Creek targets and some of these some of your like novelty shots, I was kind of curious like how you painted it. You know, you had the mule deer painted and then you had the buffalo painted, and I'm like, I've never seen a target painted like that. And I was like drawn to those two targets. And then seeing the blue O, like whose idea was it to paint it like that? And then like to come up with the idea that you're going to set it at this distance. And then like, these are going to be the rules on those targets.
So it was a team effort on that. The paint scheme, I will have to give a little credit here to an ex-partner that we had on that buffalo. Kevin came up with the paint scheme on the shot buffalo, and he nailed that.
We kind of had a discussion first before he painted it. The discussion was like, you know, for our brand, we like for branding purposes, we needed to come up with a color scheme, a theme of what our brand was going to, you know, be represented by. And, you know, we're sitting there talking like Brian's an orange fan. He likes orange, but it gets used a lot. And then the neon green is like over.
Green,
I love John Dudley and Knock On Nation and hoorah on that stuff, but we didn't want to take a neon green and implement it. And so we thought like, well, nobody's using blue, white and blue. Nobody's using it. We want to be different. That kind of comes from our odd vein out kind of background too. Is like the reason we named it Odd Vein Out was like, we want to be the odd guys out. We're not doing ASA rules. We're going to make our own rules for our jackpots. We're going to throw trash in there. It's going to be a different kind of 3D shoot.
Real quick, not to interrupt you on that, but you know, Unbound, the name that we got is from the same thing. It's to like be, you know, boundless and to stretch your, you know, limits and stuff like that. So I relate to that.
Yeah. So we wanted to be unique. And so we come up with the blue and white kind of scheme. And then we have the big buffalo target. And we're like, Kevin, we need to make this look like this. And that kind of came up. That's what started our logo, the buffalo logo with that target and the O being the 10 ring on the scoring system. And Kevin painted it and did a freaking fabulous job. Fantastic.
Yeah, you guys killed it.
Well, the buffalo was not our logo at our first event. It was just the word shot. Like we had a patch that had SHOT on there. after the success we had on the first event and everybody talking about the buffalo, that's when it became, you know what, we got to do the buffalo. Like that's us. That's our calling card. Then Jeremy,
I didn't even notice that. That's pretty sweet.
yeah, yeah. So the other thing is the mule deer, the earnet buck, which was the other painted target. That was a little bit of a brainchild from Jeremy there, because one of our first sponsors for that target was Muley Freak. And one of their sayings was, earn it. They had T-shirts with earn it on it and all of that. And so we made that specifically for them on that shot. And then
they sponsored a novelty shot, the Earn It novelty shot year 1 in Hugo, and we painted that target like themed after the Muley Freak brand.
Yep. And with our colors, blue. But then after that, Jeremy, we had the mule deer get attacked by a bear in Mulberry, and so he needed a little reconstructive surgery and some tender loving care. And Jeremy painted the shot logo, did the shot deal on him to make him a shot mule buck. But yeah, it's between those and the Wild Creek targets. I think that's one thing that sets us apart. A little different, like you get the different looks of targets. That was one thing that kind of we got feedback on, because we had got 1 or 2 Wild Creek targets in the Odd Vein Out days, and everybody's like, "Holy shit, where'd you get that target?" I've never seen that before, and it like clicked. All right, going along with the theme of Odd Vein Out being different, me and Jeremy scoured the internet for hours looking for targets. We looked at stuff in Newfoundland, China, France, and came across the Wild Creeks, and it was like we got our hands on one, and that it was over.
Yep, yeah. The one I have is the best target I've ever owned. So I'm glad you guys were set up.
Are you talking about the Ibex?
Yeah, I love that thing.
I'm telling you,
I think it's one of their best targets that they have, durability wise, and just the majesticness of the pros, and it's one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, it is majestic. Was the so is the 107-yard buffalo, the side-by-side shot, is that like the most popular novelty, you guys think?
100%.
Yeah,
100%. I stay busy probably more than anybody in that tent, with that shot. It could be anybody over there. It didn't matter who it is. Jeremy, Tim. You could throw a dog over there, and they would pay tickets to that dog to shoot that. It's the long distance shot with a chance to win a decent, not a decent, a great prize.
Yep.
Like, man, and it's funny because you see, I can't even tell you how many arrows I've seen get shot at that thing in 3 years now. But to watch these guys shoot this. It's more than winning a prize. It's a lot of like what we talked about with you. It's I freaking did that.
The badge of honor. Yeah.
Like, you know what? It's a win when you get an entry. To see guys, I've seen guys shoot 40, have 40-yard pin as a max on there, and we walk them in and get them an entry.
I was going to ask you, when you see someone step up to shoot that and you see a couple arrows, do you have a pretty good idea where you're like, this guy is going to make an entry? Or is it like anyone at any time, can surprise you?
After doing this as much now, you get a feel, right? This guy, it's a little bit of being a carny too. Like, I got to be a little bit of a carny here. Salesman, like another $100 worth of tickets and you're going to get in. There's no doubt about it. You're that close. And so there's a little bit of salesmanship that goes into that, but also it's encouragement because I know they can. And I think that's one thing that sets us apart with that is because I want to see that person succeed. I truly do. Somebody's going to win that side by side. It's not there for me to take home. It's not there for Jeremy to take home. Somebody is going to win that. I really, you pick and choose like maybe a couple of favorites. Like there was one guy out there that was freaking shooting a 60-yard pin. And I'm like, dude, I'm pulling for you because you're shooting a 1999 bow with a 40-yard, 60-yard pin for a max, I'm pulling for you. And to watch that guy get an entry, freaking that was highlight of the event for me, you know, on some of those. Like there are those that you see that you're just like, this is the guy. Like this would be awesome if this guy won that, you know, like seen some crazy setups, you know.
Oh, talk about the guy from Mulberry who's looking through his peep.
On the
like
200
using
yard
his
stuff.
cable roller as his pin through his peep.
Yeah.
To hit.
Dude comes out of retirement pretty much at Mulberry, like been shooting but hadn't shot in a while, comes up, older bow, sight wasn't up to 100, and he's like, I just want to shoot this 200 yard because I know I can shoot, but I like most people, you don't get to shoot 200 yards in most backyards. Where are you going to shoot 200 yards at? And the price was right? It's just one ticket to shoot at it. And guess what? If you do get lucky and hit it, you're going to win a brand new freaking bow. And if anybody could have used it, it was this guy.
Yeah.
He also could have went and played the Croc and Friends and won a new Booney sight. But anyway, using his cable roller to look at that thing and get a sight, some pretty crazy stuff, man. Hearing everybody talk how to aim for that, and then here's the thing for me too. I hear a lot of these guys talking, so everybody's asking me, and I'm like, here's the deal. Number one, I don't know your abilities if I don't know you. Now I've been around a lot of these guys that I know, but being able to talk them in and giving them that confidence, I'm like, hey, you can do it. I was like, get your first one, and let's see where you're at, and then we'll go from there. Got to have a baseline, right? Like let's see your baseline. So you shoot and you're 20 yards short. What were you aiming at? What were you doing? How were you holding? There's also the trick of looking at your field point through your peep, like you actually kind of traditional style, right? Like you're point on with that thing, aiming up, getting in there. I bet there was 50 different ways that I heard guys aiming and shooting, and there wasn't a single one that stuck out more than the other. Some of these guys, Brian Tatum, the one that won the Darton bow at Tulsa, the dude stepped up and was like, I'm just going to start aiming for the clouds. And
at 200 yards, you can't put a pin on what you're aiming at. So
there's
it's all
no
guesswork from there.
at all.
No reference at all.
Yeah. And I watched him shoot that thing, and he put a line across it. He had his height down.
Oh, wow.
He put 6 arrows straight across that thing.
He had the right leaf on the tree to aim at.
And he was in clouds, man. He was over trees aiming. So
I don't know if you remember in Oklahoma when we were getting entries in last year, I brought my buddy Spencer, and he had he bought 3 arrows to shoot at it the first time. And the first one was like in the spine. The second arrow was under it, and the third one made an entry.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
Yeah, on the top, on the bottom, and then finally down right in the middle. Yeah,
was that Choctaw?
It could have been. I kind of get them mixed up now.
But
I remember, I remember a couple times too. Like I'd shoot a dozen arrows, and I remember Jeremy went up one time and he joked. He's like, "Man, that's a pretty good group at this distance. I might let you shoot a buffalo at this distance."
Yeah,
but it's like, man, and listening to you like walk people in helps so much. And you know, I shoot so much, and I know my form and my anchor, and I know where my pin's at. And I remember like 9 out of 10 arrows, if I was off, I could tell you exactly as soon as it broke. I'd like, Brian, that's like a just left. That one's just low. That one's just right. And like 9 out of 10 times, they'd be exactly where I thought they went. So it's just holding steady, you know, at that distance. If it can hold steady and break steady, you're in it. But it's so hard to do that at that distance. Everything's so exaggerated.
Yeah, man. And it's kind of crazy to me. Case in point, there was a couple of guys at Mulberry, Reed McMurtry, and I can't remember the other guy he was shooting with, but they both shot 10, 12 arrows at that thing. And they were literally, none of them were out of the blue, but none of them were in the middle. And I'm like, it sucks to be disappointed about a group that freaking awesome.
I know.
Like, I know it didn't accomplish what you wanted, but that's freaking awesome to have 12 arrows in a 106 yards right there.
Yep.
Less than a pie plate.
It's, in all honesty, thinking broad spectrum, like It's a lot of practice. There's some skill involved. There's definitely some luck involved. But, you know, for me personally, like I think 2 big cheat codes in life are having faith in God, which I do, and having a supporting wife. Like if my wife didn't allow me to go out and spend the time shooting and support me going to some of these events, like I have buddies whose wives like definitely do not support this kind of thing, spending the money like we spent on novelty tickets, and she's so encouraging on like coming out and watching me shoot and then spotting for me too with you at some of these events. So, you know, it's a couple cheat codes in life.
Dude, that is 100% truth right there, because I've seen both spectrums of this sitting over there under that canopy. I've seen the guys that are so close, and if they spend another $100 on tickets, they were probably going to be in, but the wife was in their ear saying, "You've already spent $200." No. But then I've seen the other ones, the other wives that are like, "Oh, you're really close. I'll go buy the tickets. I'll be right back."
That's awesome.
And those guys get in, like, because they have that supporting factor.
And you know, it's a human nature thing when you're that close and you paid the money and you're like, I know if I could do like 10 more arrows, like I'm going to be in it. Because if you leave without, like it'll be like all you can think about is how you were this close to the chance of winning a side-by-side.
Yeah, and there's guys too that'll try to be like, hey, maybe there's nobody there hardly shooting, it's just him, and he's like, I just want to, can I fling one more at it just to before I leave? And I'm like, you don't want to do that, because that's going to be the one that you hit, and you're going to be upset, and it's going to ruin your day. It's going to be like, just go ahead and buy the tickets. Here's the deal: go buy them. You're going to put it in there, and if I do let them shoot it, 9 times out of 10, it's their best shot.
Yeah, how heartbreaking is it to do an unpaid shot and get it?
Yeah, yeah. We don't do that a whole lot. I don't really let that happen because that's just what we do. But there, you know, if it is slow over there and there's one guy that's just like, I just want to shoot once just to see, like, don't do it. Pay for it, dude.
I'm warning you.
You don't want to do it. I've seen it. Don't do it. But
I talked too about, I know I've told both of you guys this story, but watching the live, I was down building strings. Shayla was upstairs. And I was like, there's 6 names on here that are all different names. Like, I ain't winning this. I tried to have faith. It was hard. All the stars align. And I'm like, first arrow, I'm like, I'm out. Nope, somebody else. Second arrow, I'm like, all right, here it is. I'm out. Nope, third one. And I'm like, if I'm going to get out, please let it be now. I don't want to be the last 2 people and then be the one to get out. And it's like, and then it was like, you're like, oh, Nick won it. I'm like, I like froze. I could hear Shayla hollering upstairs. I'm like, what? And I was like sitting there for a while. I had to like rewind it, watch again. I'm like, what? And then like thinking back now, like all the stars aligning, like I said about having faith, like when you wrote the triangles out, like my name had to be in the exact triangle, like the speed of the wheel spinning, like hitting the same name twice, like the wheel falling off. If the wheel didn't fall off, it would have messed with the placement, like all that stuff. Any one thing, it's like the butterfly effect. If any one thing would have changed, like it might not have been me.
Dude, it's crazy. And so it's a funny story. We were only really going to let Cannon shoot the African winner. And then Jeremy's like, make him shoot them all, man. Who's going to get mad at a 7-year-old? Like, he's just flinging arrows. He's happy to hit the target.
I'm glad you did it that way. Yeah, I've been catching a lot of crap for winning stuff this year. And how can you debate that? I didn't hear a whole lot of haters.
No, and that's another, man. That's one thing that I really want people to understand is we try to make it as random as possible. That's why we go ahead and draw the 6 names out. Get 6 different names, and then you narrow it down from there. Like we did last year, the high roller. We're throwing a damn dice. We can't make that thing land on a certain number. Like letting Cannon shoot that wheel. Names aren't even facing him. He's just happy to hit the target, which I was too, because there's a chance Cannon can have a squirrel moment and, you know, fling one way over, but he hit it every time. And
I'm going to share a couple pro tips. Maybe I shouldn't say this. I'm going to say it anyway. It could hurt me. But for those of you that shoot novelty, cast as much of a wide net as you can. And what I mean by that, spend the money, buy the tickets, and then get intel from these guys. Look at the sheets. See how many names are in it. Look at all the sheets. Ask how many people got into this at the last shoot. how many people are in it overall. Okay, there's 2 left. Do the calculations. Find the one that don't have and when I say I cast a large net, even if there's a lot of entries, get me 2 or 3 in that one. If there's minimal entries, I want a ton of entries in that one. Like if I could get some of them, like I wanted 50% of the entries into it. And like thinking back now, like if you think about how much money I spent and how much money I made, like I won so much stuff doing it that way. So I know there's probably going to be people that do that now. It's going to turn my odds down a little bit on one hand, but Mike, you guys know how competitive I am. Bring it. You get 50 entries. I'm going to try to get 100 entries. So let's do it.
Maybe we need to have a page on our website for the end of the year giveaways that we just put everybody's name, who all's in it. And like, when you have that question, you can just go to the website and like, oh man.
Oh, if you could have a live sheet with the novelties and put the names on every time. Yeah.
We might be able to work that out. Because I will say, now there also is that anomaly where the 1 entry wins, which is Cody Carney. He won the African trip with 1 entry at the very first event at Arrowhead. Like that. Sometimes that's how it goes. The guy with 1 entry.
I think he was shocked as all get out when we called him.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, never. He said he'd never even won a Dirty Santa before in his life.
That was you said that one was the African one, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy because Kelty had like 15 entries, didn't he?
And he was on that board twice. He got drawn 6 names. He was 2 of the 6 names. So I honestly, and Ty Dameron had a shit ton of entries on that. So I was kind of expecting his name on there. Like it just goes to show. I mean, it's luck of the draw. Like it's a random deal, man. Like
there's a couple guys, and Kelty was one of them, that was gunning for the Africa hunt as much as I was gunning for the side-by-side.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, Chase Baggs, he ended up getting on the wheel for the side-by-side, but he showed up and had Kelty's game plan. He bought a bunch of those San Lita arrows from Amazon. Like you can get a dozen of them for $60 and bought them and kind of tuned them just a little. They were full length arrows, way longer than what he shoots, but he got his sighted in. And he was like, this is just for the steel target for Africa. And he got 11 entries in Tulsa.
That's another cheat code I'll have to remember for next year.
Yeah, steel targets. I'm going to tell you right now, those San Lita arrows.
Send the link, Kelty. Send me the link.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Might be something to that. Kelty liked him so much, he bought some to hunt with. Like he got him down so much, like he bought.
Well, man, he's stacking them through a small hole at 50 yards, so they got to be okay.
53 yards. So yeah, like he ended up. It was funny. His first event, he had arrows for the course, and then he had just those steel target arrows. At Kansas, when he showed up, he shot the whole courses with those San Lita arrows, like, and had no troubles with them. So sometimes you can overthink things.
For what he saved and what he would have spent in arrows, he bought that many more tickets and got that many more entries. The more entries you have, the better your odds are. It is random, but it's still a odds number. At the end of the day,
there's some game planning to some of that stuff. And another guy, man, that won almost every freaking Evolution Ibex release. So, freaking Hunter Rogers. He spent his time and money on winning that. Number one, he wanted the shirt that went with it, but because he wanted to collect all the shirts. But you know, when you get your name in there 5 to 10 times and only 8 people, 8 to 12 people made it, when you're half of them or 3/4 of them, pretty good chance you're going to win.
I got a story about that Ibex in Tulsa because Tyler was running it, and I got a ride down there, and I was like, all right, I'm going to shoot at this for a while. And I just probably spent like 20 or 30 minutes with Tyler just flinging arrows, and I had like 8 or 9 entries into that thing, and I felt pretty good about it. And I remember paying attention when you guys drew it. It was like, I don't know, like number 21 or something like that. And I'm like, man, I think I got from like 7 to 19 or something to 19. I'm like, if I would have stayed 5 more minutes and got, just a few more entries in it. So it's like more encouragement to just stack more entries. Like you're only doing yourself a favor.
Yeah.
Another thing I've seen too is kind of like what you and Philip were doing with the Buffalo at Tulsa. You start out in the morning, get a couple entries, go shoot a course, come back, get a couple entries, go shoot another course, come back, get another couple. Like you spread those out through there, especially if you're a guy that you can shoot, and you're gonna probably put 1 out of 5 in there, or 2 or 3 out of 5. But you both had those spread out throughout the whole.
Yeah, every time there was a wind break, I was like right back over there.
There's some game plan into that, man. And 9 times out of 10, it's first thing in the morning.
Yeah, first thing in the morning, there's always a dip in wind.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But it's kind of neat to see how the game plans play out and work. And in your case, it did, man. And it paid off.
Yep, and we've already been getting some use out of it. I mean, every Unbound string built in the last few days has been ran to our mailbox in that thing. So our driveway's a mile long, and we just run it back and forth.
That's funny.
Do you have anywhere out there you can really stretch his legs and take it for some rides? Or
some of our hunting properties that we have permission on.
Are you going to use it during hunting season this year?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Yep. I'll send pictures of deer in the back of it.
There we go. That's what I'm looking for.
Last year's winter hasn't done that yet, so we're looking for a bloody tailgate on a side-by-side.
Yeah. Well, awesome, man. Jeremy, you got anything else for Nick?
Man, I just appreciate all the support you've given us and Shot, and helping us grow, being partners, Unbound Archery and Shot. I want to go back and say one more time, you won the side-by-side. You put a ton of money into it, a ton of effort, a ton of emotion too. Like you were texting me at the very beginning of the year, I want that side-by-side. I'm going after it. So for the audience, one of the things that Brian and I look at is like, how's this going to look if one of our close friends wins a deal or whatever? But we try to make it as 100% honest random as we could, and also feel like it couldn't have been given to a better guy too. So congratulations. But we appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It means a lot. And it feels good, to gun for it, practice for it, daydream about it all the time, to be, on a cliffhanger thinking there's no way you're going to win this thing. And then seeing your last name up there, like to see it full picture is it's special. It means a lot to me. And it's very easy to support you guys in what you do, growing a sport, supporting a sport that we're just also passionate about. And, without archery, I wouldn't know you guys. So it means a lot.
We'll be back to Kansas again next year.
I can't wait. And a lot of people in Kansas are already talking about it.
Yeah. We're excited for it. I think, this year was kind of planting seeds for the future in Kansas and Louisiana. Those are 2 new states that we haven't been to previous to this year. And, the attendance was a little low, but we had a lot of factors. Both events, there were some weather factors there. The Louisiana one was way outside of our home range.
Other event right down the road, there was the R100 going on,
R100
an hour away.
But we went to those 2 states knowing that we weren't going to see like record-breaking attendance numbers.
They say anytime rain is forecasted well in advance, it cuts the attendance almost in half in an outdoor event, which is true.
It is. Well, I can guarantee you one of our new strategies and new game plans that we're going to use to make business is we're going to go to states with droughts and promote an archery event. And people are going to pay us because we're going to make it rain.
I'll tell you this, ending on this note too, is because of there was a good chunk at Kansas, but the thing was with the rain, a lot of people didn't want to get their bow wet. They didn't want to stand in the rain. Well, guess what? It was my Kansas entry that won me the side-by-side, standing out there in the rain, braving the weather. And I'm glad I did it because it paid off.
Heck yeah.
Man, for all the guys who did go to Kansas, I don't know what our numbers was. Is it between 200 to 300 people there at Kansas for the whole entire weekend? But that group of people stuck it out. They played the games. They spent money there. They bought hats and T-shirts. Like, I'm thankful for the ones that were there. They were an awesome group of people in Kansas, and it makes us want to go back every year.
Man, and it has a lot to do not with just what we bring, but the venue,
Mhm.
and the people. Like you said, the people that were there made it the event that it was, because we had the little social hour. And man, I can't thank you enough for that, because that was something I kind of threw on you. And I was like, I don't want any involvement. I don't want to do it. I'm not going to have time to do it. And I didn't even get in there till right before the drawings, because I'm the last guy off the field. I'll stay out there and take tickets till everybody's done buying tickets. So having you guys do all that, you and Jacob, Steve, thank you.
Yeah, I remember a couple times asking guys like, "What do you want? Like, how do you want it done?" You're like, "Take it and run with it," and we did.
Go. Just
And man,
go.
it was a good turnout. It worked out
It was
great.
perfect. Yeah.
Wow,
It
we
was
had so
one
many
of the
people
most
reaching
talked
out.
about deals.
Yeah, so many people reached out afterwards. Say, "Are you going to do that at Tulsa? Or you got to do that at every event." Like,
Yeah.
we need a Nick Dawa at every event then, because like we don't have the supporting staff and capacity to pull that off while we're running the event. It really does take partners like you and Scent Thief there that want to do something like that as a additional, side event. We just don't have it in us.
Yeah, well, maybe I can be lucky enough to get an opportunity to do it again this next year.
Let's hope so.
Let's do it. Well, Nick,
Well,
we
all right.
appreciate you, man. We love you.
Yeah, man.
Congratulations, and hopefully you get a big old antelope in the back of that side by side, and a big old mule buck too.
You
So
bet, guys. Much love
we'll
for
be-
you guys, and wish I lived a little bit closer just so we can spend more time shooting bows.
yeah,
Well,
we're having to work on that.
maybe
Yep,
one of these
you
days.
bet.
Before we get off here, somebody wants to order a set of Unbound strings. You want to tell them where to go?
Yep, unboundarchery.com. If you want to see some of the color combos before you order, on Facebook, Unbound Archery, and on Instagram, Unbound Archery.
If you need new strings, do yourself a favor and put some Unbounds on. You won't be disappointed.
Hands down.